Well, welcome again, human beings from the planet Earth. Another topic that people are either ignoring or leveraging for their political gain, and it's leaving fellow Americans under attack, or others to feel like they have to jump through hoops now because there's a new type of human running around and they don't know whether they're a girl or a boy. I want to be very clear up front. This is not meant to attack anybody. And to the transgender community, on the behalf of humanity itself, I am sorry that we did not stop this corrupt terrorist regime to do the things that it's done, resulting in people that are now changed. It's my theory that the toxins in our air, food, and water over a long period of time have changed human DNA. Some people will see the transgender ideology as mental health, but they're demonizing these people. It's my belief that it's not so much a mental health issue as it is a new type of human. That the DNA has changed because of the drugs and toxins and the things that we do to ourselves over decades, over generations. I believe that there is not a man alive or a woman, sorry ladies, don't mean to leave you out, not one human alive that can calculate, fathom the cost of the toxic soup that we live in. Now we're going to go from this introduction to a few things that I've pulled up on Google that will back up my thesis. So hang in there. We're going to, while I go to the next clip, why don't you give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't, because we're going to show you over time how this government has not served we the people. And it's going to put forth ideas that might help us unify to create something that functions well and does benefit us. But today we come in defense of people who are being attacked and people that have been done wrong by their government. Get to the next clip. Okay, guys, back with you here. We're going to do some reading. Actually, I'm going to do some reading so that you guys don't have to, because I know that basically nobody likes to read anymore. And it's kind of funny how one thing ties to another, doesn't it? You get so exhausted, you just don't want to do anymore. And that's where we start, because I was actually doing a little bit of research to answer the question, why do we have so many cases, especially in men, of colon cancer? Why are men in their 30s even starting to get tested and worried about such a thing? It's a poisoning. But what I found in that was quite curious. So let's read through this, and it hints at the point I'm trying to get to you, that DNA has been damaged. So let's read. Certain food additives, particularly nitrates, in nitrates in processed meats, emulsifiers like polysorbate 80 and carboxymethyl cellulose, and some synthetic food dyes like Red 40 have been linked to a higher risk of colon cancer. These additives can negatively impact gut microbiome, lead to inflammation, and cause, wait for it, DNA damage. DNA damage. Okay. Let's go to the next indicator here. Get rid of that. Pull this up. Medications that can cause DNA damage include many common chemotherapies. Not going to read the big words, but again, DNA damage. Now, I'll raise the question. What happens over time, when there is DNA damage in a mother and a father and they breed, what happens to their children? Can you conclusively tell me that it doesn't turn them into what we're seeing now, somebody that's confused about what gender they are? We've damaged our children, and we've let it's our fault. We didn't control our government. Here's another indication here. Drugs and chemicals, endocrine disruptors. This is already relative to damage to the DNA, confusion in the mind. One of the big ones, pharmaceutical estrogens. These prescriptions, these drugs, BPA, that stuff was even in the gas, remember? For a while, it was in the air. A toxic cesspool we live in. It's no wonder we have so many confused people running around. Fluoride. This is a big one because right now, some of you may be disregarding this, but it has been proven, even though when you look at an AI, that's why I pulled up this. This is on a government website, which can't always be trusted, but this is one of those studies that they're not going to tell you about because it was shown that fluoride creates passiveness. So if you're feeling like this really isn't a big deal right now, well, it may be because you have some DNA damage as well. One more thing, ingredients from prescription drugs have been found in public water supplies. So even if you were one of those people that tried to eat healthy and maybe you have a trans kid and you're not sure why, don't blame yourself. Don't blame yourself. There have been over more than a decade of research. I've seen many instances where these heavy drugs are showing up in the public water supply. Many of them cause DNA damage. And again, over a couple of generations, what is that going to do? There's a reason that we see so many people suffering from what they may call gender dysphoria, or this whole trans thing. It's an epidemic now, and they're being used as political pawns. It's a great wedge issue, right? The lefties are going to defend them, the right-wingers are going to attack them, and we're going to continue to attack Americans instead of the government that is supposed to be serving us. It's disgusting. One more thing I wanted to show you guys here. One more thing that could be affecting people's minds, and this is not so much on the trans issue, but it may be. It is another factor we have to consider because right now we're in a place and a time where there are influences on the earth. I remember seeing 6 or 8 years ago a study that was released. I didn't bother to go find it. If you want to, you can do that, or you can just sit there and put comments in the chat room about how wrong I am. But scientists were concerned that when we got to this certain place in space, which they believe we've never been, what the influences would be on the Earth, and they anticipated that we would see animal and human behavioral changes. So not only do our kids have a toxic cesspool that they're living in, their parents, their grandparents had damaged DNA, and now things we can't see, understand, and the media never even talks about are affecting their minds. You add up, you show me the person that can tell me with conclusive proof that I am wrong. And while you're looking for that person, please stop judging people that are other than you. Please stop allowing this political system to use any one of us as a wedge issue to continue the fight amongst ourselves. Folks, the economy is collapsing, society is collapsing, and the earth is changing, which is going to bring about catastrophic events that you can't fathom. We don't have any time for this. And I don't know how did we get this far down the line? Myself and others screaming and yelling and informing and advocating for well over a decade. Now I'm seeing fellow Americans attacked. And yeah, they're going to make it look like the trans people are violent. You know what? You keep fucking with me for a long time, I'm going to turn violent too, but it isn't my nature. It's actually probably quite the opposite. And if you are one of those people that are, I don't even know what the right word to use because I don't want to insult anybody, but I am of the opinion that if I come in a good deed fashion, and if I use a word that upsets you, that's something you're going to have to work out, okay? I'm not going to argue with you about it. You can tell me how wrong I am in the comments. Or you can, continue watching these videos so that you can continue to tell me that I'm wrong every time I put out a video, and you'll do that by subscribing. But to the transgender people, again, myself and others did fight for a long time. But there was a whole generation, maybe two, that didn't push back. They believed everything the government told them. Most of those people are dead now. And others, like my mom and dad, only have a short amount of time to live. My mom is going into dementia. I don't bother telling my dad that it's probably because all of the additives in the food that they've eaten over the years, or the non-stick pans, or the stuff they're breathing in the air, or the things they've taken in the water supply. It wouldn't do any good now. I don't raise those issues with my parents anymore because I just want them to have as peaceful of a last little bit of life as they can have. And it wouldn't do any good for them to make a change. But for you, the teens, the 20s, the whatever age you are, younger than me, you got to fight. You got to push back. And you got to do all you can to live in a clean environment and really think about those things. There's a big push for white people to have more kids because people are worried about the brown people taking over. Before any of you bring any more kids into the world, let's get it cleaned up a little bit so that they're not living in a toxic cesspool. Anyway, I'm out of here for now. Much love. Many thanks for your time. Again, like, share, subscribe, all those things. And if you want to support my efforts, there'll be a couple ways you can do that listed in the description. Much love, and I'll see you all in the next one. After all the ideas, the thoughts, and the pondering, I find that I am merely one fool wandering.